Welcome to Perfectville, your first place podcast for your last place Miami Dolphins, part of the BLEAV network, presented by Fanduel. I am Sam Marcoux, and I am still recovering, still licking my wounds, nursing these injuries that the Miami Dolphins have put on my soul, on my body, and everything else, just like all of you out there, the citizens of Perfectville. But I'm working on it. We're working on it. We're trying to get better. We're turning that corner and moving our vision and our focus onto week 2. Joining me in just a little bit of time, I've got DouglieDoWrong, the infamous DouglieDoWrong. He was going to be here to get us kickoff ready for the Colts game. We moved, we pivoted, we adjusted, and he's here as we head into week 2 against the New England Patriots. I cannot wait to sit down and talk to Dougley. This guy is a force when it comes to his breakdowns, when it comes to his commentary, when it comes to everything that he is doing for the Miami Dolphins on YouTube, X, and all the different social medias that are out there. DDW in the house, making his triumphant return in just a little bit. But before we get to Dougley, a couple things that we do want to talk about. Look, I did the Finstant reaction show yesterday. I was pretty down on the Miami Dolphins, and I've had a chance to sleep on it. And I'd like to say to everybody out there, I was not hard enough on this franchise. This team, after the press conferences that Mike McDaniel had yesterday, is in trouble. They're in more trouble than I even imagined. So as it turns out, the best thing about the game in Mike McDaniel's world is that it couldn't get any worse. That's what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but he got up there, did his typical Mike McDaniel stuff where he hemmed and hawed and ummed and uh'd through all these questions that he didn't need to hem and haw and and through, and put me to sleep on a minute and a half. I think I slept twice on one answer to a question that was so benign that all you wanted to do was throw something at the screen that you were watching and say, answer the damn question. Like, if this was a court of law, you'd be like Tom Cruise, I want the truth, with Jack Nicholson, because this was, it's outrageous. No, it's barely cute when we're winning, and when we're losing, it's untenable how Mike McDaniel handles the press and how he just has such a I'm smarter than you mentality when he's really not. Which I think is funny. I can't wait to talk to Dougley about what Rex Ryan said. Yes, that Rex Ryan. I think he called him nerd boy. That the players have no respect for their coach. I have a sneaking suspicion Rex Ryan is starting and trying to lay the seeds so that he could come in and maybe try to take the reins of this, because he's looking for a coaching job and has been for quite some time. We'll talk to Dougley about that as well. But Mike McDaniel came out and basically said, everything was bad. He's right about that. And it can't get much worse. That's where I have a problem. That's where I question Mike McDaniel at the presser, because it can get worse. It can be worse. If you lose to the Patriots in a similar fashion, you lose to an AFC East rival at home in September under the sun, that would be worse. So Mike McDaniel may think he's in the basement. He's on the floor. But there's a trap door there. And if he is not taking week 2 seriously, he's going to fall right through it. And I wonder if that would be it. I wonder if that would be curtains for Mike McDaniel for the Stephen Ross era. I think that could be it. If they come out and get blown out, they get the doors blown off of the barn against the New England Patriots, that might be it for old Mike McDaniel, the old ball coach. We're going to talk to Dougley about that as well. But I look, I guess kudos to Mike McDaniel for coming out and actually calling out Zach Sealer as an example of somebody who was not playing disciplined on defense, what Bradley Chubb was alluding to during his press conference immediately after the game on Sunday, where he said people are out there doing their own thing, not playing within the system, not playing within the scheme. And McDaniel comes out and calls out a team captain, Zach Sealer. I'm curious if that is by design. I think Zach and Mike may be conspiring to say, hey, let me fall on the sword. I had a bad play or a couple of bad plays. Use that as an example. Maybe. If so, then I applaud Zach Sealer for allowing that to happen. If not, then I don't know what the hell Mike McDaniel is doing, airing out dirty laundry, house business in front of the town. I don't know that that's a good move. Is it an insight as to where Mike McDaniel is with this team, with these players? Have they tuned him out? Has he tuned them out? Does he not want to be here anymore? Does he not care? Is he just collecting a paycheck? And because of that, he's going to start to light matches and burn this thing down on the way out? I don't know. Time will tell. But the seat is hot. The seat is on fire. And like we talked about yesterday, and like everybody is talking about in the media, Mike McDaniel very well could be out of a job before the end of September. If this goes south, we lose to the Patriots, we lose to the Bills, which seems like a given. We lose to the Jets. I don't see how Mike McDaniel has a job. I don't know if he'll even get that far, depending on how we lose, if we lose to the Patriots and Bills. I mean, it would be so on brand for the Miami Dolphins to lose big to the Patriots week 2. And then everybody's clamoring for him to be fired. Everybody wants him out. He hangs on. Week 3, they beat the Bills on the road on primetime Thursday night, short week, as massive underdogs, and then lose to the Jets. And they go 1-3 with their only victory being against the Bills. That would be the most Miami Dolphins thing ever. But looking at the film, a lot of people who I trust, Kyle Krabs, DouglieDoWrong, even people like Reason, who I don't follow a lot, but does pretty good film breakdowns. They're looking at this. Travis Wingfield, looking at the tape going, we made so many mistakes. Alf from 5 Reasons. 3 yards per carry. So many mistakes, both offense and defense. People not hanging on to their assignments. People not knowing what they're supposed to be doing on offense. Tua Tagovailoa is out there just directing traffic, trying to get the ball snapped in time, trying to get the players where they're supposed to be, and all of a sudden, there's 1 second left on the clock. He doesn't have the ball. He's clapping furiously, trying to get that ball while trying to get his receiver set. What do you think the defense has to do in that situation? They just have to know that that ball is either going to be snapped at 1 second left on the play clock, or they're going to get a penalty. Either way, I'm jumping. I'm firing off. I'm getting ready to go if I'm a pass rusher with 1 second left to go. And when you know it, Tua gets sacked. It's just undisciplined football, bad assignments, bad coaching, bad execution. Just like I said yesterday, people are out of shape. There's not a lot of positives from what I'm seeing, both on offense and defense. Even special teams didn't really come through, right? We stopped them once. We got a punt, and Matthew Judon goes and knocks into the kicker. Willie Gay Jr., our crown jewel of preseason football, doesn't play 1 snap on defense. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Somebody should ask Anthony Weaver why. But we're going to get into all that and more. We're going to go take a little break, pay some bills. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, gearing up, running towards 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. The man, the myth, the legend, DouglieDoWrong, here in the town of Perfectville, right after these words. All right, welcome back. Sam Marcoux, the town of Perfectville, BLEAV Network, presented by Fanduel. And joining me now is a guy who needs no introduction, yet I am contractually and legally obligated to give him one. Your returning champion, making his triumphant return to the town of Perfectville, one of our most popular guests of all time, one of the most popular guys in Dolphins, Twitter, social media, YouTube. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the legendary DouglieDoWrong. Douglie, how you doing?
Holy crap! That has to be one of the best intros I've ever gotten. I'm doing good in life, obviously not in Dolphin world. So
Right.
There's that.
Yeah, well, I think if you had to choose, well, that's a good call. Let's just start there. If you had to choose having a great life, everything else going well, job's well, family's great, health is good, you're looking better than you ever looked, and the Dolphins are the last place team like they currently are, or you're falling apart, you've got injuries, you're sick, you're fat, you're bloated, you got more holes in your underwear than we previously talked about, but the Dolphins are in first place. Which path are you taking?
It depends on my age. How about that? If I'm in my if I'm in my 70s, I'd probably go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's all falling apart anyway.
Yeah, I'm at the back end of it all. Why not? Let me get a Super Bowl in there for once in my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I'm looking for, too. I've seen my Los Angeles Kings in hockey and the LA hockey team win 2 Stanley Cups. As a Dodgers fan, obviously, I've seen them win multiple World Series. As a Lakers fan, I've seen them win multiple NBA championships. But when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, I think you and I are in the same boat, paddling upstream with a broken paddle. The Miami Dolphins just can't seem to get out of their way. When you look at this team after getting blown out on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, by my estimation, the Colts didn't do anything particularly special. They didn't
Mhm.
unleash some sort of new defense or crazy offense with Daniel Jones. They just showed up, and the Miami Dolphins didn't. Did
Mhm.
your film study? I know you just released that earlier today. Is that what you saw, or what is it about the Miami Dolphins that was so broken and bad against the Colts Week 1?
Undisciplined, um, which is crazy to say because, Stephen Ross put out this whole statement saying, status quo is not good enough, blah, 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 play on the field, doesn't don't think I think that's good enough. They just were not ready.
Mm,
And, the first touchdown that the Colts got, and I'll say this, right? We rag on the defense, rightfully so. Every drive was a touchdown. Oh, not a touchdown, but a score.
yeah.
At least they held him to a field goal at some points. It's some type of, silver lining in this crap Sunday that we're dealing with. But their first touchdown was um Fatu Melifanu just not being in the right spot.
Mm,
He went somewhere where he wasn't supposed to be, and Storm Duck thought he was going to be there, kind of let him drift a little bit. And the sad part is that the receiver stumbled and still collected himself and caught it to a wide open. Like it was horrible. But yeah, it was just execution because I did like a 30-minute film breakdown. I went up to Tua's second interception, and I was like, I don't have to break it down the film anymore.
right.
Like,
I've
but
seen enough.
I put some positives in there, and there were some positives, like Judon's just laying out of Daniel Jones, like that was beautiful.
Right.
Going from if you're the defender from the right side to the left side, if you're obviously the offense, it's the opposite way around. There was some nice passes from Tua, like there was stuff there. It was just executed poorly. And hearing Bradley Chubb essentially say that they were freelancing, you saw it. You really saw it when you watch the film or you watch it again. The film's a little better because obviously when you watch the game, you see where the ball is, where the film, you see everything. They were freelancing. A lot
Mm,
of times they were free. Like I said, Fatu Milifanu decided to cover a tight end that Brooks was covering, leaving his cover two and easy touchdown. So yeah, it was bad. I would say 90% bad, and then there's the 10% good. And the two good was Achan's fight for that touchdown.
yeah.
Beautiful. And I think like one of the last plays of the game was a screen to Ollie Gordon, who they took four guys to tackle him.
Yeah.
Like some good. There was some good.
When you talk about the good, I mean, you highlight Ollie Gordon and Devon Achane, the running backs for the Miami Dolphins. When I watched this game live, one of the things that was blowing my mind, and I think part of this is because they went down so much so early that they
Mhm,
were trying to play catch up and trying to
mhm,
score 30 points with each
mhm.
pass, but they abandoned the run game, especially to the left-hand side, where it looked like it was not only successful, it was thriving on very, very minimal touches. Did you see the same thing? I mean, did we just not use Achane and Ollie Gordon in that running game enough in this game, even though we were down?
100%. Ollie Gordon barely got any snaps.
Yeah.
They really like Devon Achane got the most snaps he's ever gotten as a Miami Dolphin, which, we all love Devon Achane, but he's small.
Yeah.
Like you can't be using him like Derrick Henry. Um, but yeah, no, that left side, like there was a few plays I saw where, there was a little miscommunication or picking up the wrong guy between Patrick Paul and Jonah. But yeah, they were moving it. The left side, that's like their bread and butter, especially Patrick Paul. He's a big man, but once he
Huge.
starts moving, he's like the juggernaut for all the
Yeah.
comic book nerds like me. Once he starts moving and you're not stopping him.
Yeah.
So, that but like you said, the defense wasn't stopping anything. So it got to the point where all of a sudden, Mike McDaniel, we know how easily he'll abandon his bread and butter. Like he got his job because he was a run game coordinator and had CMC looking fantastic, but he abandons that run as quickly as he can. Oh, it's because they were showing cover one. Who cares? Run the
Right.
ball, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, once we went down by 17 nothing, his mindset was we gotta catch up. And
It seems to be the downfall for Mike McDaniel. He seems to be enamored with the glitz and the glamour of what you can do with a long pass or something that looks. I mean, he's so caught up in those. Let's have a magic trick before the snap that Tyreek Hill's running around like an ADHD child who missed his Ritalin prescription, and like Tua's trying to get everybody to where they're supposed to be. And by the time they do that, there's one tick left on the play clock, and he's got to snap the ball. Not everybody's in position. People are missing assignments, and they're just trying to do too much. And I feel like if the Miami Dolphins just stripped down and said, we have talent on offense, we're just going to line up, we're going to run the routes that we're going to run when it comes to passing, we would be a little bit more, if not a lot more successful right now, because what we're doing isn't working. I mean, like you said, there were some good passes from Tua when he was able to get those passes out. Even that first interception, I actually thought he made the right read. People like to say, well, there's 3 Colts players around Tyreek Hill. Yeah, but he was open. He just threw the ball to Michigan. Like, he threw that ball way past Tyreek Hill's wingspan, way over his head, and it just sailed on him. And, people make mistakes, but I didn't think it was a bad read. It was like you said, bad execution.
Yeah.
It
was the right read. And in my film breakdown, I showed both angles. The one where obviously the sideline, but I showed his angle. And because you could say to yourself, oh, maybe the line. No, when he threw the ball, there was a clear lane straight to Tyreek Hill. Now, there was a defender in his face. So, the defender got his hand up, but where he threw it was kind of in between. So maybe his thought process was, oh, I got to get over the defender. But he 100% sailed it. And you hit the nail on the head with this whole motion. So he had his first interception, and then our defensive drive, and then a fumble, then a defensive drive. And then the next defensive drive stalled because he got sacked. And on that play, he got sacked. There was a motion where Tyreek was supposed to go from his right over to his left, back over to his right. And if you watch it, he goes from his right, and Tua puts his hand out and he stops him and he tells him to go back. And then he starts clapping for the ball because there was no time for the motion. So Tua literally had to stop Tyreek Hill in the middle of his motion and said, no, just go back. And then he starts clapping for the ball. Like, come on, come on, come on, come on. And he ends up getting sacked because they had to hurry up and get and it's something he talked about in 2023 when he was like, I don't have time. Yeah. And that one sack where he got blown up, he's pointing out the wrong side, came from the other side. And it's just like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and defend Tua. He played like trash, but it needs the execution, and the coaching needs to be better. And like you said, you have the talent. You have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. You have no tight ends, and we'll probably get to that. Just let them play, man. You don't need all this glitz and glamour. Just let them play.
Somebody, and I don't remember who it was, somebody broke down the 2-point conversion and the fact that they actually rolled Tua to the left, which I thought they do a lot more of because of that offensive line, because of those 2 young bulls that they have there, and Aaron Brewer snapping the ball. But he went to the left, and you could tell it was a little bit of just ragtag sandlot football. All of a sudden, Julian Hill peels off, stops, and Tua's like, there he is, boom, throws the ball. Now, Tua's not the guy who's going to throw the ball with accuracy on the run. That was actually what Ryan Tannehill, I think, did best when he was here in Miami. But Tua got the ball to him, and wouldn't you know it, 2-point conversion, little bit of, glimmer of hope of, okay, we can do this. I don't understand why they don't let Tua just play outside the system a little bit, lead the team offensively the way a leader should, and say, this isn't going to work. I'm going to play outside of this. Bucket, basically. Let's throw the ball. Let's do this. I'd like to see them do a little bit more of that as they go into week 2, which I want to get your opinion on. But on the defensive side of the ball, something that I noticed, there were a couple of drives that obviously went for scores that should have ended. Obviously, the punt, you can't run into the kicker, Matthew Judon. I don't know why Matthew Judon is on special teams at this point, but, he's got to earn a paycheck. It's a mistake, but that was one that obviously they got the ball back, went down and scored. The other, late in the game, not completely cooked, but Rasul Douglas misses a wide open interception. It's in his hands. That's why you have a veteran there. I didn't even know who it was. I was yelling at the TV like, "Who? Turn around. Let me see your name," because I didn't know who it was. I thought it was one of the young guys. Turns out it's the veteran that we signed to help solidify a little bit on the back end of this defensive backfield. He can't make the play. Obviously, the Colts convert after that. They go down and score again. It's stuff like that. The execution wasn't there. They weren't prepared. They looked out of shape, Dougley. I mean, they were sucking wind. I'm like, there's no reason for this team to be that fat and out of shape week 1. There's zero excuse here. And I think it comes down to the coaching. So my question is this: as we move to our home opener against the New England Patriots, a team that Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to, by the way, a team that Mike McDaniel has had a lot of success against, a team that, in my opinion, has started to turn it around. They've got Mike Vrabel as their head coach. They've got a young quarterback that they feel confident in. They have good wide receivers. Is this a must-win game in week 2 for the Miami Dolphins? And maybe more importantly, is this a must-win game for Mike McDaniel to remain head coach of the Miami Dolphins?
So there's an enigma with the New England Patriots. I don't even know if that's the right word I want to use, but there is.
It's a good word. It sounds good.
Like you said, they haven't beaten Tua. And there's been 2 different head coaches there. Haven't beaten Tua. Haven't beaten McDaniel. But this is where that big fat pimply butt comes in. Vrabel has the Dolphins number. Vrabel knows. So it's like, which is stronger? You know what I'm saying? The power we have over this New England Patriots team all of a sudden, or Vrabel's power over the Dolphins? Yeah, 100%. This is a must win. From my understanding, that if they put up what they did last week, I don't think McDaniel makes it. I think he gets fired, which then is a big, like you could, and again, if you follow me on Twitter, I already apologize for this, but I'm going to keep posting that stupid letter that Stephen Ross put out. I don't even know if he wrote it, because if Mike McDaniel, say the Dolphins again fall flat on their face and they lose 28-10, like they just get embarrassed at home, I honestly think I'm like 85% like confident that Mike McDaniel's going to get fired. How dumb do you have to look as an owner to bring him back, and then only 2 weeks into the season you fire him? Like,
Right.
it's such a dumb thing to do. And then Greer's probably next, like, in all honesty. And are they really going to fire him? Because like, what people don't realize, if you go back, Mike Tannenbaum never got fired. They took him and kind of stashed him in the closet, and then eventually his contract ran out and he was out. That's what they're going to do with Greer, right? They're going to take all his football power away and kind of just put him somewhere, like be like Garfinkel's like assistant getting him coffee or whatever. But yeah, 100%. If the Dolphins fall flat on their face again, you know, if they lose by 3, he won't get fired. But he'll then get fired after week 5, because then you ain't beating Buffalo and you'll probably go 1-3 and 0-4. But yeah, they have to, like, as a fan who doesn't have as much expertise and experience as Anthony Weaver and Mike McDaniel, though, to sit there and watch this film and watch them drop Kenneth Grant back into coverage.
I couldn't believe that.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, they're throwing first down passes, and I'm like, why is Kenneth Grant covering a wide receiver? Why is Kenneth Grant in coverage? You drafted this guy not to tackle the guy who was drafted after you, Tyler Warren. You drafted him to tackle the quarterback, Daniel Jones. What does he do? Like, I didn't understand that move at all.
First play of the game, you have Jalen Phillips dropping into coverage, and he slips over. Stop dropping pass rushers into coverage, for the love of God. Also, why is Willie Gay not getting 1 snap? Like, these are the things that you sit there and like, again, Anthony Weaver, everyone's like, oh, the team likes him, the players respect him. If McDaniel's gone, he's going to be the interim head coach, yada yada, blah blah blah. The reason Van Ginkel didn't get a contract offer at all, apparently, is probably Anthony Weaver didn't think he fit his system.
Meanwhile, Anthony Van Ginkel seems to fit everybody's system. I mean, you look at what he's doing in Minnesota. Look what he did last night.
He almost had a pick
against
6
the Bears.
off the screen again.
And again, the key word is again. I mean, it wouldn't have been the first time. Look, I know everyone wants to crown Anthony Weaver the next guy, but based on what I saw Monday or Sunday for week 1, I don't know if he's the guy. I would actually be interested to see Frank Smith calling plays. I'd actually be interested to see Frank Smith take the reins of this offense away from Mike McDaniel with the same weapons, clean it up, strip it down, and say, we have talent. Let's go out there and play ball. I think that would actually be a more intriguing interim head coach. Maybe Anthony Weaver, becomes a candidate after the season. If you were to do that, I think that would actually be more intriguing. That'd be more interesting to me. Look, I think the only way Mike McDaniel saves his job, he's got to win against the Patriots. I mean, I'm with you. If they lose by a point or something like that, he's probably not getting fired. The only way Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer save their job is if they somehow pull the horseshoe that just got shoved up their ass by the Indianapolis Colts out and use it as a good luck charm to beat the Buffalo Bills on the road on Thursday night in prime time. That's the only way Mike McDaniel escapes this current jam that he is in. He is like a bug trapped in a Black Widow spider web getting rolled up right now, and rightfully so. And they're turning on him. I mean, people that were already turned on him are now just kicking him while he's down. Did you see, you said the word nerd earlier. Did you see Rex Ryan, the ultimate high school bully, go out and call him nerd boy? And I got to tell you, I hate Rex Ryan. I make feet jokes every single day of my life because of Rex Ryan. And you know what? I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, he gets it. I get it. Everyone gets it. Mike McDaniel's too smart for his own good. Nerd boy.
Yeah, his euphemisms, I couldn't get that word out, metaphors and all the stuff that he like. I'm gonna be honest, and if you go back and watch my stuff back in 2022, I've been doing this for like 8-9 years now. I don't really like the McDaniel signing. I was like, you kind of had to sign him because of how narrow you casted that net by you have to work with Tua and Josh Boyer is going to be your defensive coordinator. Like, who the crap wants to come into that situation? Right. No one interviewed Mike McDaniel. We did, and we were like, we're gonna hire you. You're cute. Like, it's like, what are you doing? So I was very uneasy about the signing. But yeah, that's all Rex Ryan being like, I need a job.
I need a job. Exactly.
I want to coach. And I just to for the comments, just to cut that and no Rex Ryan, but I would like an experienced head coach as the next head coach, but not Rex Ryan.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins have not had an experienced head coach since Dave Wannstedt. It has been nothing but first-timers ever since, and I think that's astonishing, and I've told people that over the last couple of weeks, and they start doing the mental Rolodex, and you're like, you're absolutely right. I mean, the only one that had head coach experience on really any, good level was Nick Saban, but that was at the college level, and we all saw how that turned out when he came to the Miami Dolphins. Personally, I wouldn't say no to Rex Ryan, and here's why. I think Rex Ryan is a motivator of men. I think Rex Ryan is an old-school football coach when you look at who his father was, who his brother is. And I think if he were to get himself good coordinators and not talk to into the microphone very often, you might be able to see some people shoot up. You're certainly not going to see Kenneth Grant in coverage if Rex Ryan is your offensive coordinator. Or, I'm sorry, your coach. I will say this. I'm a big fan of John Gruden for many, many reasons. I don't know if he's in play, but I do think the Miami Dolphins will have to change. Again, this is all assuming Mike McDaniel gets fired, which is basically where everyone is right now. I saw a tweet today. And it came from a guy who I respect, a guy who's been on this show before, but he was telling me, he was telling everybody on Twitter, sources within the NFL seem to think that Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer won't make it out of the season. I'm like, who are your sources, Earth? I mean, everybody knows that. That's not, what are you doing, Paul Feinbaum? You're
blowing on a hurricane day? Like,
yeah.
Who's your source?
Are you the weatherman looking outside, seeing it's raining and reporting the news? It was Paul Feinbaum. Shout out to Paul Feinbaum. Great guy. Been on this show, but who are you impressing with that news? Oh, Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat? Yes, you can take odds right now. He is the leader in the clubhouse to get fired first. Here's the thing. I didn't want Mike McDaniel either. I like fat coaches. Give me a fat guy coach. I don't need a guy who's out there running. I need a guy who's sitting in the film room eating Cheetos. I mean, look at Andy Reid. I mean, look at all these guys. I wanted Brian Daboll, also shows how much I know. Obviously wasn't going to be the guy. He's the other guy on the hot seat right now in New York. But I don't know, man. It's bad. I saw the tape. I watched the game live. And I didn't see, you saw more positives than I did. And maybe it's just the negative person in myself, but I don't see how the Miami Dolphins recover from this. I really don't.
Like I said, it was I put a 30-minute video out of breaking down the film. I had to throw some positive. And there was.
Yeah.
Like there was a nice run stop on Jonathan Taylor where Brooks came in, he initiated the first blocker, and then Dotson came behind, made a fantastic tackle. Then, I kid you not, the very next play is where Daniel Jones drops a pass off to Jonathan Taylor, and he breaks Dotson's ankles. Like, holy crap, does he break his ankles? To go back to you're talking about potential coaches, there is a dream of mine, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen right now. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers again go 9-8 and knock out of the playoffs once, tell me you wouldn't trade for Mike Tomlin.
Yes. I mean, the answer for me is yes. I was going to try to come up with something creative to agree with you, but the answer is yes. I mean, if Mike Tomlin was in play, I think that actually he jumps to the top of the list and actually writes a very, very long-standing wrong for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh god, my god, he was too hip hop, I think the term was. Um, the such so and then we went with Joe Philman
Yeah.
we went with a glass of milk. Anyway,
Spoiled
from
glass of milk at that.
yeah, oh my god. From my understanding, and I think Omar Kelly said this. I know somebody said this to me. He Stephen Ross loves Mike Tomlin. And apparently Mike Tomlin has a mutual respect for Stephen Ross because of how he runs his front office and what he does and all that stuff. So again, I'm not gonna sit up here and get your
Right.
guys' hopes up because the way the Steelers played week one against the Jets, which are very, they look better than I thought they would. I could see the Steelers going like 10 and something.
Yeah.
So obviously he's probably you have to trade for him. You have to trade for Mike Tomlin. So you're giving up a first. So maybe we can get one for trading Tyreek or whatever. But that would be a dream of mine to get Mike Tomlin.
No,
I
I mean,
love it.
if we're talking dreams, I think one of the dreams that I have is for Travis Wingfield to call you and apologize for his outrageous behavior towards you when you were at training camp a couple of weeks ago. I had Travis Wingfield on the show last week, and I actually pulled that photo up
You're such
of
a
you.
butt.
And he did apologize that he was like, I
He
told him I would
doesn't
come
need
over there.
to.
Yes, he does. Travis is a friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time, 20 some odd years, and he needs to apologize. But I just think it's the most hilarious thing. It actually speaks to Travis's personality that he had to get the tweet out, right?
Well,
Somewhere on the far field, somebody stopped a running back for 3 yards, and he had to get that out to everybody on X.
let me give you the other side of that story. So I'm there. This is day one. I'm there. And I said to Omar on the Dolphin Collective, I was like, listen, I got to get a picture with all you guys. I respect you guys. You let me sit with you. They even like listen to me, like, where I'm like, they're like, hey, who did that play? And I'm like, oh, it's Sababa. And they're like, Sababa,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I'm part of the guys. So I was like, can I get a picture with all you guys? He was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. When you come, let me know, yada, yada. So Omar's like, hey, we're about to go inside. Let's do the picture now. I'm like, cool. I look over and then Travis looks at me and I give him whoop. Like I've been friends with Travis, not as long as you, but I've been friends with Travis before he was with the Dolphins. Like
Right.
I've known Travis forever. So I threw him my hands up and I go, we're gonna take a picture. He goes, oh, okay, okay. So I stand up and again in the back of my head, Omar's telling me, we gotta go inside. We gotta get this done now. So I'm like, okay, okay. Boom, pull it up. I don't even look to see who's in the picture. I'm just like, I gotta get this picture done. So I take the picture and I upload it because I'm like giddy like a little schoolgirl. I got all the beat writers in my picture, not realizing that Travis wasn't looking, that Travis was doing his job again. So, and when I put the tweet out, people were like, wow, look at Travis. And I'm like, shit.
I know.
I'm like, I just made Travis look horrible when
No,
he
you didn't.
literally was doing his job. So Travis said, I need to apologize to Travis. I should
Oh
have cropped
my
him out.
God. No, no, no. That's what he said. He goes, you should crop me out. I'm like, no, 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 no. I want the evidence. And you know what? Again, I actually think this is better because A, it gave me 2 segments of content. So I appreciate that. And B, this is who Travis is. And I
Mm.
mean that in a very good way. He is extremely dedicated to the Miami
Oh, I
Dolphins.
love
And I
his
know people
tweets.
give him shit for being
Yeah.
positive. And like I said when he was on the show, shut the fuck up. If you're
Yeah,
giving
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Travis Wingfield shit, he is giving you better content than this team has ever given you, and you want to shit on him. So stop it. So I actually
Yeah.
like that you didn't crop him out. A, because it's funny for me as a friend of Travis,
And he got in
and
the
B,
picture. He was
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah. Look at that. I mean, he's another picture of Travis. So we're good. So we're talking to DouglieDoWrong. We are wrapping up our segment here, but we talked a little bit about New England. I want to try to turn the corner because I am
Mm.
depressed when it comes to the Miami Dolphins and the Colts. I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to pick the scab. It's time for me to move on and get kickoff ready for week 2. In
Mhm.
your opinion, based on what you see, based on what you've experienced, based on what you know about the New England Patriots, you talked a little bit about it with Mike Vrabel. What do the Miami Dolphins, if they can fix one thing, snap their fingers like Thanos and be better or worse at one thing next week, week 2, the home opener, what is that one thing that they should do that will guarantee success against the New England Patriots?
I feel like they're one and the same, but they're two different words. So I'm just gonna say slash execution and discipline. Um, because it's there. Again, we looked horrible, but it's there. And you're facing a team. And I went and I didn't watch the full game. I kind of went on YouTube and NFL will give you like the highlights of it. And I watched the Raiders Patriots game. And I knew this was going to happen. A lot of people were coming in being like, oh, the Patriots, they're going to go 9, 10 wins, yada, yada. And I said, it takes a minute to install something new.
Right.
Oh, that's not necessarily true, blah, blah, blah. And you could see it, wide open receivers. There was one pass where Geno threw to one guy and another guy was even more open, like that touchdown to the back of the end zone to Jacoby Myers, law firm, butt naked open. So they're still young. They got rid of, a very good safety. So it's like you can be successful against the team. It's home. It's
Yeah.
1 o'clock. It's the rare 1 o'clock on a September where we're going to be roasting them on the sideline. You just got to be disciplined and you got to execute. Don't freelance. Get the plays in. Do your job. Speaking of the Patriots, and you can beat this Patriot team and get to 1-1, make the fan base feel better. Okay, maybe it was just a hiccup. Maybe it was because of Jim Irsay's memorial. Maybe we did maybe Daniel Jones just needed a change of atmosphere. Like he wasn't bad with the Giants when they went to the playoffs and beat the Vikings. Like he's a decent quarterback. Maybe we just overlooked them. That's what needs to happen. Execute, discipline. And you can beat this Patriots team now. Will they is the big question of the day.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, for anybody, and maybe the Colts are good. I mean, that's one thing that nobody's really giving them a lot of credit for. I don't think so. But I also know that Daniel Jones week 1 is pretty much a juggernaut. Speaking of juggernauts there, he's been good week 1 for almost his entire career. So I think we just kind of ran into a little bit of slipping on the old banana peel, landed directly on that banana right after. I hope you're right. I hope they somehow get it cleaned up. I hope the right side of that line, which is going to be patchwork most likely going into Sunday, can somehow figure it out so that Tua can throw the ball. I hope they simplify the offense a little bit. I hope the defense plays where they're supposed to be playing and not covering who they're not supposed to be covering and rushing who they're supposed to be rushing. But it's a lot of hope. And that's really the only thing Miami Dolphins have after week 1. So they also have DouglieDoWrong. Dougie, tell everybody where to find you. If they're for some reason, somebody's listening to this, watching this right now, and they don't know who you are, let them know who you are and where they can find you.
YouTube.com/DouglieDoWrong. I'm on a journey to break 100K. I'm at 53, so I'm halfway. I'm on a journey. It's a long journey, but we'll get there eventually. And then every Tuesday and Friday, I am with TD Finns Talk, Alan Poupart, and Omar Kelly with the Dolphin Collective. And then I got a show with Reason. I got so much stuff going on. I'm so busy. I don't know why I did it to myself, but you know what? It's fun. So it is what it is.
He's on the road to 100,000 subscribers. He's at 53,000 right now, the same number that Tua Tagovailoa's QB rating was this past week against the Indianapolis Colts. Let's hope that we can get to 100,000 and we can get back over 100 for Tua this weekend against the New England Patriots. Dougley, thank you very much for being here. Your second time here in the town of Perfectville. We talked about Travis. We talked about the Patriots. We talked about the Colts. We talked about pimply asses and holy underwear and everything else you can imagine that Sam Marcoux and DouglieDoWrong would cover when they were together. Listen, the only thing I'm going to say right now is that nobody is perfect except us. So on behalf of myself, the entire BLEAV Network, DouglieDoWrong, presented by Fanduel, the only thing left to say is goodbye from Perfectville. Later.